let's understand some of the merge scenarios which can be quite tricky in your day-to-day activities. So to start with, let's redefine merge. Merge, the process of merging is in Subversion is nothing but fetching changes between a set of revisions and applying those changes into the destination. So when I say from revision 30 to 40, if I want to merge from XYZ branch into trunk, so what I am doing is I will look in the what SVN merge does is in between 30 to 40 it will look for all the changes that are in the release branch XYZ. So pick up all the changes from that branch and then come to the trunk, and for each of those files there it tries to apply those changes into trunk, and when it is trying to apply, if it ends up in a conflict situation, it will keep it aside as a conflict and gives you an input that this file is under conflict, you need to resolve it manually. For all other things it will complete the merge process. So merge is the summary of fetching changes from a source URL into destination for a given revision range. Sometimes merge will be automatic. SVN takes care of merging the changes from one place to another. Mostly that is possible when you have change in one direction. Say in between 30 and 40, you have only changes in release branch and you don't have changes in trunk for a particular file. So merge is more or less straightforward. But if in between a given set of revisions, if there are changes in both the places for a particular file, then there will be a potential conflict situation. Now let's come to more advanced merge techniques. Advanced merge scenarios. So let's take one scenario here. You are doing a merge from a release branch into trunk. Okay, and the file that you are changing in release branch is deleted in trunk. Okay. So there is a revision range 30 to 40, some revision range. In that in release branch you change it a file, say file 1.txt. In the trunk you are deleting that file, SVN delete. So when you are trying to do a merge, it is bringing a change, but it is not finding the file here. So that's a big candidate for conflict. We call them as tree conflicts. Generally, there is a directory in release branch where you are making some changes and you deleted the directory in trunk because you don't require that in trunk anymore, and you are doing weekly merges. So it ends up in tree conflict. On the other hand, if you delete it in the XYZ branch and you merge into trunk, so it will be a change. The deletion will happen in trunk also. Like you are bringing a change, you are bringing a deletion. Fundamentally, whether deletion or addition or a modification is all a set of changes in Subversion. So if you delete a file in the release branch and merge it to trunk, that won't be a problem. But you modify a file in the release branch and you delete the file in trunk. That is where merge complications can come. I will just show it here so that you will understand it better. As usual, the first thing I do when I am working with these merges and all that is to take an SVN update so that my code base is latest. Create revision number 35 is the head revision, is the latest revision of repository 35. Okay. Now let me be in this app 1.0 release branch. Let me take an update of that. So it is also in the latest 35 revision. So what I am going to do now is little interesting. So in the release branch, I am deleting this file. Sorry, I am modifying this file. In the release branch, I am modifying this file. App 1.0 release branch. Change. Custom message. So now I am committing it. This change in app 1.0 branch. Okay, done. So a change is committed into app 1.0 branch. Now let me come to trunk. Let me edit this file. Sir, not edit. What I will do, I will delete this file in trunk. Okay. Tortoise SVN delete. I am going to commit it. So there are development teams working in trunk. There is a development team working in release branch. So as part of their defect fixes, they gave one fix in file2.ext. Okay, but here in trunk, the development team understood that this file needs a lot of refactoring, and in fact we don't require this file because it's redundant. So they have deleted that file. They felt that in the newer versions we don't require this file, but in 1.0 development is done. It is in testing phase. Now in 1.1 development is happening in trunk, and they realized that this file is no longer needed from 1.1 onwards, so they just deleted that file. Back in the release branch, there was some bug fix to be given, and they had to give it in the release branch. They had to make a change in file2.txt, and Friday came. They say you are the one who has to do merge activities, and you are given the task to do an SVN merge. So now you have to do a SVN merge. So we have seen the last revision was 34, and the head revision is 37. So I need to do an SVN merge a range of revisions. Now I am doing from app 1.0 branch. Perfect. The revision range is 34 to 37. 34 was our last merge point, and the current head revision is 37. So I am doing it from 34 to 37. Click on next. So now it is merging. Now you see a tree conflict. We wanted this conflict to come. Generally these three conflicts come when you have situations like a file is modified in the source, in the source branch, and when you are merging it here, that file is deleted. Either file or directory, both are same. Both are technically implemented in the same way in Subversion. So if a directory is modified in the release branch, in the app 1.0 branch, and if the directory is deleted in trunk, or if a file is modified in app 1.0 branch and it is deleted in trunk, we will end up in a tree conflict. So how to resolve it? Okay, now let's go to trunk. See, you don't have the file here first. Okay, so if there is a file, if there was also a file here, then we can edit the conflict and we can resolve. But situation is from the branch a change is coming, but that file is not existing here. You see the situation. Now how do you resolve this conflict? A file was existing in both the places, then we can right click and edit the conflict and see the conflict and resolve it properly. But now the situation is one of the file is not existing. So how do you edit conflict here? So data is SVN, go for this one. Check for modifications. You will see that there is a file in conflicted state. Okay. Now, what will you do? There are, in these situations, what is your approach? Let's understand before we actually do anything. Now the options in your hand are, shall I get the change into this file and get the file back on trunk? Number one. Number two, let's ignore the change coming from the branch. Anyhow, I don't want this file in future. So let me continue to have it deleted. These are two options that you have. Is it not? You have a change coming from release branch. You have a change coming from release branch and you have the file deleted in trunk. So the options you have on hand are get the file back, add that change, or continue to ignore that change and let the file be deleted. These are two options you have on hand. So let us pick both of them and see. If I say revert here, the change that has come from the branch and all this mess will be cleared up and file will continue to be in the previous table state, which is nothing but deleted. Now you don't have any conflicts. You can go ahead and commit. Clean. You have merged. There was a change from one file, but you don't want to take it. You ignored it and your merge is done. You can just go ahead and commit. Merge. Done. From revisions 34 to 37. Committed to repo. So that is how you handle the merge from a release branch into trunk, especially merge from release branch to trunk, especially when there is deletions involved. On the other hand, if you want to retain that file, so let me do that also. So here I am making a fix. Now I am coming to trunk, deleting this file. I am committing this one as well. So again the scenario is that I am modifying a file in release branch and I am deleting the file in trunk. So now I do a merge now. So I think earlier I have done from 34 to 37. Now let me take an SVN update here. Identify the number 40. So I will say it from 37 to 40 now. You know what is going to be the output? It will be a tree conflict. Yeah, it's a tree conflict. Now let's say edit conflicts. Now you can see when you are trying to edit the conflict, you can understand the message. The last merge operation tried to modify the file file1.txt, but the file is missing locally. The file is missing locally. Now here, so check the log to find out how the file got renamed or moved and decide whether you want to merge the change into your renamed file or restore the original file. Okay. Some message is given. But fundamentally, why did this tree conflict come? The last merge operation tried to modify the file, but the file is missing here. Why is the file missing here? Because you deleted it here. That's why it is missing. Now one way we have seen. What is that? One way we have seen, that is nothing but resolving it straight away, saying it's okay, I did my deletion with a conviction. I know that I don't want this trunk anymore, I don't want this file in trunk anymore. So even if the change is coming, I don't bother, I will revert it or I will resolve it, saying I don't want that change. Okay, that's one way of that's one way of doing it. Saying let the change come, I am going to ignore it. Second way is you realize that okay, this is important, I deleted it accidentally from trunk. So the best option in this case is go to this folder, go to that app 1.0 file, pick up this file 1.txt, put it in trunk, and then you say resolve, because you have solved that problem. So this file is here. This file is here with the changes in trunk as well as changes done in the app 1.0 branch as well. Okay. So let's add this file and then commit it. Let's commit it trunk. There was an accidental deletion of file 1.txt in trunk. The latest version of the file from branch app 1.0 is taken. The changes are committed. So what I have done here, just repeating. See, whenever you have a conflict, you have two options: choose theirs or choose yours. Okay. So in this case, there is a change. Here is a deletion. So what do you understand? How do you understand it as choose yours? Continue to be in deleted state. What do you understand by take theirs? Means take that file as well along with their change. So that is what I have done. In the previous case example, I have chosen my change, mine is nothing but deletion. I continued the deletion state. In the second example that I have done, I have chosen that file, placed it here, and I just committed it here. So what I have is now the file along with the change done in the app 1.0 branch. So in any of the situations, when you get a conflict, you have two things: One is take your change as well as take others change. So in a case of deletion, if both places you modify a file, it is very easy to merge. It is very easy to resolve the conflict. But if in both places, other than modification, if file is deleted at one place or file is added at one place and this file is not here, so that is where you will get little bit of problems. But still, you need to be very clear in your approach. You have two things to do. One, either you want to choose what you have done in trunk or you have to choose what is done in branch. So if you want to choose what you have done in trunk, what did you do in trunk? You deleted the file. So you continue the deletion without doing anything. So just revert that conflict, it's over. Or resolve that conflict, it's over. On the other hand, if you want to get the change from days, means release branch. So get that file here, put it here and say resolve, which means now you have the file with the changes from the app 1.0 as well. So if you want to retain yours, just resolve it. If you want to retain days, put that file here and then resolve it. So these are two things that you do whenever you are coming into tree conflict situations. In tree conflict situations, either you can ignore the change coming from the parent, coming from the release branch, by just clicking resolved without doing anything, or if you want to get that change into you, then you bring that file here and then you click on resolved. Now that we have seen a typical advanced merge scenario discussions, now as part of the last discussion on subversion, we will go ahead and understand some of the subversion commands working from command line. Okay. So to work with SVN command line, you got to have Subversion Collaborate command line client installed. That's the best one, at least among all those which I have worked. So to see that, where you can download the SVN command line link, just go to Collaborate Subversion download. So you will have Collaborate downloads. Collaborate Subversion downloads is okay. Both are same anyway. So here, so you can have here the command line client that you want to install. Here you will have multiple things. Subversion Edge is the Subversion server. Let's not go into it. You have SVN Subversion 1.7.8, it includes all the command line binaries. So go ahead and download it. It may ask you for email registration. So you can go ahead and do the email registration, not an issue. And if you have done that, it's an exe installer, just double click on that and it will install the software for you. And once you have installed it, how do you know it is installed correctly? Just type SVN, it will give you this message, type SVN help for usage. So this will give you an indication that SVN is properly, SVN command line is properly installed in your system. So what is the need for SVN command line client? The need is this. When you are working with systems like Linux and Unix flavors, you do not have GUI based SVN clients. Okay, you do not have GUI based SVN clients. So you cannot right click and say SVN up, SVN checkout and all those things. So you need to be a little bit familiar on how to use Subversion command line client so that you can work on any operating system with ease. So now let me do all the basic operations on the SVN command line. So first let me go to I I will make a directory. So I am in command line demo now. So as a developer I have joined, I don't have UI with me. GUI based client is not there with me. So I have to work with command line. So what is the first thing I need to do? I need to take SVN checkout. You will be sending me the URL of the trunk anyway in my mail. I'll just check that URL, and then so to take that URL I need to, how do you send me that URL? You will go to your SVN server, and in that SVN server you will have the path to your trunk or branch, whatever it is. So SVN checkout. So if you want to understand how can I use these commands on my own, just type SVN help followed by the name of the command. SVN help followed by name of the command checkout. So here you can see more detailed description of the command. So what does checkout do? Checkout is having short form CO. What does it do? Checkout a working copy from a repository. Checkout a working copy from a repository. Okay. So what do you need? You need a checkout and you need to give a URL. These are mandatory. Now whenever you are working with any command line tool, if you see something in square brackets, what it means is that it is optional. But it's a parameter which is optional. So here you can take a checkout up to certain revision. You know that I can take revision up to revision 10 or 20, 30 to whatever revision I want a checkout I can take. Similarly, I can also give the path. Means, do I want to take the checkout in my current location or do I want to take checkout somewhere else in D drive or F drive somewhere else? So I can also give the path. So path can be two ways. One is relative path, one is absolute path. So generally absolute paths will start from your drive location. E drive, XYZ, blah blah blah, slash something. That is your absolute path. Relative path means, relative path will be the path relative to the base directory where you are running your command. So in this case, let me follow those things. I will say checkout, SVN. Checkout has a short form CO. And it says URL is mandatory. Let me give the URL as mandatory, followed by, so revision, let me take head revision. I want the latest revision, and let me give a relative path as trunk. There are two ways that you can give relative path. Say we are in which drive? E drive, I think. So you can say here D:trunk. What it does is it will go to D drive, create a trunk folder. In that it will take checkout. This kind of path is called absolute path because you are giving the path right from the drive location. On the other hand, the other type of path is a relative path. So what is relative path? Relative path means a path which is given relative to the base directory of where you are running the command from. So where are you running the command from? You are running the command from this location. So it will create a directory called trunk in this particular structure, and inside that it will take a checkout. This is called relative path, relative to the location where I am running the command. So you can give either absolute path or you can give relative path. So here I am giving relative path. So here you can see that the file got checked out. You can see the status. Add means a new file is added. So you can see that in batch 31 I have created a command line demo. Inside that I have created trunk, and then I have checked out the files. Okay. Now let me do some modification to the file. As a developer I have joined. I have made some modification. Command line practice. Okay. Now I have made some modification. So I don't have tortoise diff to see the differences. Can I see the diff here? Yes, you can. Let me go to trunk. Now if I say SVN diff, now you will see that index a file, name of the file, and then it would say minus symbol as you can see on the screen, which indicate the line that is removed, and plus lines indicates the lines that are added. So it shows minus with lines that are removed and plus with lines that got added. That is what is how diff works. For every file that you make a change, you will have the list of files here. If I say SVN diff. Now if you want to see which are the files which got modified in your working copy, you have SVN status. So you can see one file is in modified state. One file is in modified state. Now let me commit it now. So yes, how do you commit? If you don't know how to do that, you just type SVN help commit. So it will show us what does commit mean. Send changes from your working copy to the repository. Clear. So if you want to commit something, use the word commit. Commit has a short form CI and then the path that I want to commit. By default, I can give, if I give dot means current directory. And you have to provide a log message. You need to provide a message. It can be empty though. Since we know at the time of commit, we are always giving a message. There are two ways to give a commit. I will show both the ways of giving a commit here. So I can say now, and let's see other options. Here you can give username, password and all those things at the time of your command. So what is the use case for these things? See, there are multiple developers in your team and you are the SVN admin. You have certain admin permissions. Suppose if they want to add a file at root level, so developer will call you to commit this file because he doesn't have permissions. You will go and commit that. So what SVN does by default is, if you are giving any SVN username and password, it does a local caching. So that next time you need not give username and password. That is the advantage in day-to-day use. But in your case, in this particular case where one admin will go and use his username and password on another machine, if it caches, then is the disadvantage. So how to overcome this particular thing is by using an option called no authentication cache. So what does it mean? You do not cache the authentication. So even if you give username and password here, SVN will not cache those passwords. That is needed especially when an admin will go to a developer system. He added a new file at root level. He doesn't have permissions at root level. He has permissions only on his component. But he added a configuration file at the root level. So he requested the SVN admin to come and commit this file. So naturally SVN admin will need to use his permissions to commit. But generally SVN will store the cache of the username and password in the local system. To avoid that local cache being generated, we use the option -no -auth -cache. So now SVN commit. If I give dot, which means I am committing the current directory. So now I need to give a message. There are two ways. One -m made a change in command line demo. Okay. This is one way that I send -m followed by name of the message. Good. I have committed this file, revision 42. Now let me make another modification. Do an SVN update as I do always. Let me make a change. The next day the developer has come. He is working in command line only. CMD line practice 2. So now if I think I am not doing it correctly, if I want to revert this, I have an option SVN revert followed by name of the file. If I say this, then the file will be reverted. SVN revert. On the other hand, if I want to revert at a directory and I want Subversion to recursively go through subdirectories, and if there are any modifications, revert each modification. That can be done with SVN revert hyphen capital R. Capital R stands for recursive. Small r generally stands for revision number. Okay. Capital R stands for recursive in Subversion. And if I give dot, what it does is, it does an SVN revert. It does an SVN revert recursively, means it will go to, from this current directory, it will go to all the directories and subdirectories inside it, and wherever there is a modification, it tries to revert that. So this hyphen R stands for recursive, an important one in interviews generally. So this one will revert if there are any changes in that complete checkout, it will revert it. Now let's say if I delete this file accidentally, shift delete, not SVN delete. Now if you see SVN ST, you will see that there is a file missing. This exclamatory mark generally indicates that the file is missing. Now if I say SVN revert, the file will be restored. Revert will check any local changes and revert that. So here locally it is missing, so it will get it from server and places it here. Now if you do a deletion, sorry, how do you delete? I should not use tortoise, right? I will use SVN delete file1.txt. Now you can see the status says the file is deleted. The exclamatory mark indicates file is missing. D indicates deleted. A indicates added. U indicates updated. So now if I want, I can revert it as well. This will get back the file to me. Now let me make some modification. I added a couple of things. Now let's see that, let's assume that now I want to commit this change. Okay. Now I want to commit this change. File1.txt. I have a pattern in my company that every commit should have a process. For instance, let me go open a comment format for you. See, generally you can follow a particular comment pattern. Being a configuration engineer, you can drive the organization to follow a proper comment structure. See, whenever they are making a commit, ask them what they are committing. Is it a bug or is it a task in things like Jira? So what is it? Is it a bug or a task or an enhancement? What is it? What is the ID? If it is a Jira ticket, take the Jira ID. If it is a Bugzilla defect tracking, take the defect ID. Who has developed this? Who has reviewed this? And then you put a message here. In this way, you make your commits more descriptive, more meaningful and more purposeful. So that tomorrow if a particular change is not working, you know that this bug is not fixed. So who developed that bug? Who reviewed that bug? Who fixed that bug? Who reviewed that bug? And you can directly talk to them why this particular fix is not done correctly, what did they miss, what is the learnings and all that. So you have a process where you said that everybody in the development team must follow a proper comment structure. Okay. And you want to use this file now as your comment, because putting the new lines and all that in command line is tricky. The commands will terminate abruptly. So you can also pass a name of the file as your parameter for message. I will say hyphen capital F and I will say E colon. Where is the file? In D colon comment.txt. So what I am telling is I want to commit this file, but I want to commit this file and I want to read the comment message from this D drive and this comment file. Here is the comment. So when I enter it, so it will read from that file and then you can see it was 42 before, now the revision is incremented by 1, it is 43. Now if I want to see the basic log files, SVN logs, So I will say that SVN log followed by, if I just say SVN log, it will look for trunk and then it will give me list of all changes. So you can see revision 2, revision 3, a file is added and one file is modified. Revision 5 task 1 today is complete by developer India. So these are all various revisions. Now if I say, if your manager asks you to send the list of revisions, if you send it like this, he will not have much of clue, because he will not know which files are modified. Only the comment is here and the details about who did that check-in is here. Other than that, you don't have much of information on which files are actually be part of this commit. So in that case, you can use this option, SVN log. Okay, before I put all those, let me type SVN log help. So what does SVN log give? Show the log messages for a set of revisions. So you can say log. You can give the path. If I don't give the path, it takes current location. That's why path is in square brackets optional. Revision. You can get particular revision also, you can get the log. You can see here examples, SVN log. It will give all the file changes, all the log of this particular folder where I am running the command. For one particular file, you can get it. For one particular file at one particular revision, you can get it. I can say SVN log file1.txt at 36. So if I deleted that 36 a file at that point, it will show me this file is deleted on this revision and this guy has deleted it. So directly I can give a URL also here. Instead of local checkout, I can even give the URL also, HTTP URL also to read the message, to read the log message. Okay, now you can see options -XML to get the output, log output in an XML format. -V, another important thing. V means generally in any command line tool, V stands for verbose. So here you will get lot of extra information like what is the OS, what is the anti-version, what are the property values. Okay, in Subversion, that is in Subversion you will get information about, what is the versions and all that. So here if I say SVN log -V, when I say -V, it gives me detailed log, and if I put -XML, here I will get in a convenient, neat XML format. This is what generally you need to give whenever you are talking about log files. You can see here. So you can see revision 2 log entry. For every revision you have a log entry. Revision 2 you have a log entry. Revision 1 you have a log entry. If you go above, log entry, revision 4 you have a log entry, revision 3. So every revision will have a log entry. In that you will see the action, a file is modified. Here you will see which file is modified, what is the message given. So this is more detailed view of your SVN log. So generally if somebody asks SVN log, you just give -V and -XML. Suppose you want to take SVN log within only some revision range. You can say -R, small r means revision. You can say 42 or you can say 36 and it will give me, if there is 36, if there is any change in the 36, it will give me. If I want to take a revision range, I will say 30 to 36. So in between 30 to 36, if there are any changes in trunk, then it will give me only those things. Please note these things. Anyhow, I am recording it, but these are typical things which you will be coming from, requests coming from your managers. He will ask you, can you send me a log of this particular branch or particular trunk? Then he will tell, can you give me between last version 1.0 to 2.0. So you need to know where version 1.0 is tagged, and from that number you just need to take till latest number. Okay. So you need to understand how can I take a revision range, a log for a revision range, how can I take a log of one particular revision, how can I take a log in a clean format. These are very important. When I click on SVN info, it will give me all the details about what is the working copy, what is the working copy location, what is the URL to which it is pointing to, what is the revision on which this folder is currently at. Okay, so who is the last changed author? All those things SVN info will provide me. Okay, perfect. Now I will say SVN copy. I need to okay, I'll type it SVN copy HTTP let me go to my Visual SVN server. I am a lazy repositories batch 31 and we have trunk, copy URL to clipboard, paste. Now where do I want, guys? I want to create a branch. Okay, so you know, I need not tell you where the branches will be. Slash branches, let me say app 1.1. Copy is a server operation, so which means I need to give a message. So what will I say? -m. I will say creating a branch for 1.1 version from trunk at revision 43. Committed. Now you see that a branch is created. Now if you just refresh your branches folder, you will see a 1.1 being created here. Okay, these are some of the things. There are some of the things that you would be. Similarly, if you want to do any merge, you will say, like you do copy, you will merge SVN merge. Let me do that thing also here. CD, just go one step back. I need to take checkout of our app 1.1 branch. I will say dash 31 slash branches slash app 1.1. I will take the checkout into a local folder app 1.1 in the command line demo. Taken, one file is added. Now I will go to that app 1.1. Here I will so here I will make a change. 1.1 testing started. So now from here itself, let me do a commit. SVN commit -m 1.1 QA phase has started. So it will commit the file. Now Friday has come and you have to merge. Let's say SVN merge. So where do you want to merge from? App 1.0 branch to where? Trunk. So let's be in trunk. What is the first thing that you do? Say SVN up will be on the latest. Now SVN merge. From where you want to do? From the branch. branches slash app1.1 to where? To current directory dot, because current directory is nothing but trunk. So you are merging from app1.1 to trunk. What is the revision range? -R. Revision range always you give in the form of A:B. So what is the revision range that you want to give? So just go to SVN log. So either you can command line itself, you can type SVN log, or here just to proceed quickly, I am taking the log here of app1.1. So the branch is created, revision number 44. First time you always take the revision of branch creation. So revision 44. So latest number is revision 45. Okay. 44:45. You are doing a merge in the revision range 44:45. You are merging the changes from app1.1 into trunk. You can see that it has automatically updated one file, file1.txt. Now if you open our trunk, you see that the file got modified. Now you see that diff has come. Now if you see the diff, the plus line is 1.1 testing started. This is a fix that you have given in 1.1 branch, and now it has come into trunk. No, I don't want to give it from UI, I will give it from command line itself. SVN commit -m merge from revisions 44 to 45 of app 1.1 branch, and changes are committed. Vision will be 46. In case if you get conflicts, there is no UI to resolve those conflicts, to edit conflicts and all that. So you have to open the file and remove all the unwanted things, and you have to commit. That's how you have to edit the conflicts with your Linux based systems. So to that level you may not be required to work, because you can always do merge on Windows system also if required. But generally, as a principle, if you are working on Linux, if you are merging on Linux, if you get any conflict, then you open that file, retain what you want and remove what you don't want, and commit it. That's the best way in resolving conflicts on Linux systems. So what we have discussed in this session today is about how do I do advanced merge in Subversion. Then we have also looked at various SVN command line options, starting from checkout, add, delete, commit, update, revert, status, diff, log, copy. So these are all some of the mostly required commands for you in your day-to-day activities. So hope you have understood the 5 sessions that we have had on Subversion.